Hello there and welcome back to my workshop. Well, it's been a while. I've been doing some other things, sort of trying to diversify on my channel, if you like. I'm not sure that it's working. Anyway, I'm back in the workshop and I have the patient in front of me. This is a guitar that my mum and dad bought me. In fact, it is my first guitar. I think I probably had it when I was about 12 or 13. And well, it's seen better days. A few years ago, about 10 years ago, I tried to renovate it, and I made a bit of a bodge of it, to be perfectly honest with you. And I noticed the bridge is coming off, bridge is coming loose, and there's something rattling inside. So I need to do some major work on this guitar, and I've got some ideas for it. But the first thing I need to do is to take some measurements. I need to get the scale length, and I need to make sure I know where the sound hole's got to go, because I think I'm going to replace the top on this guitar. So without further ado, let's get going. Whew. Not sure how we're going to do this. One of the things I have done is replace the fretboard, because the fretboard was actually made of some sort of ply material that just completely disintegrated. So I replaced that with some, I think it's rosewood by the looks of things. And hopefully at the time I got all the measurements right. But I'm going to just double check this. So the scale length, well, that's rather handy, because that looks like it's 650, and that probably would tie in with the with the scale length that I would have cut. So it's probably in tune. So that's great. So that's the first measurement done. Now, as I said, I'm going to replace the top, and hopefully I can get it all off in one piece. But if I can't, I just want to take some measurements to make sure that I can recreate that sound hole. So that's 130 from the bridge. It's actually 132. So let's get that one down. And let's check the diameter of that. Well, it looks to be about 87. I'd say that's 87. And I think that probably will do it. There's a label inside, but unfortunately, when I sprayed it before, I've gone and sprayed onto the label, so you can't really see what it says. But we'll have a look when the top's off. There's no point in messing about. If I'm going to do a makeover on this guitar, I'm going to have to strip it all down. So I'm going to take these machine heads off. Let's get those done. Of course, it's always handy to have the old tuner tin ready. Put your screws in. Never throw your tuner tins away. Recycle. There we go. I think that's the last one on that side. Magic. Okay, just the other side to do. I would really like to make an acoustic guitar from scratch, and I'm hoping that by taking this apart and refreshing it, that I can learn a bit more about the construction. I've read a good book on it, but of course there's nothing better than actually doing it. One thing I notice is that they've used countersunk screws to hold these machine heads in, and well, there's no countersink in the metal, so they just sort of stick out. It looks a bit odd. Not sure that I would have used those. I don't remember replacing those, so I think I might see if I can find some round head screws. Anyway, they're off, so that's done. Well, now there's nothing wrong with this nut, so I think I'm going to see if I can prise it off. I guess I've probably glued that on with probably super glue, so I'll heat it up and then just see if I can tap it off. So give it a bit of heat. Okay, there we are. Just going to pull some of that off. Okay, now of course I realise if I'm going to take the top off, I'm going to have to take the fretboard off. And before I do that, I'm going to have to take the frets out. So I think it could do with a new fret job anyway. And well, I'll just see if I can get this fretboard off without damaging it. If not, it's going to be a new fretboard. Well, hey ho. Once you've made your decision, you've got to go with it, haven't you? Now these days I don't actually glue my frets in, but I can't remember what I did with these, so I may well have glued them in. So what I'm going to do is heat it up with a soldering iron and then tease it out with a knife and these little pair of snippers here. So let's see if we can have a go with that. Just a question of warming up that metal. Okay, let me just tease it underneath with the knife. And here we go, let's see if we can get it. There we are. That's popped out nicely. Just another, what, 21 to do. If you've been watching my channel, and thank you very much if you have, you'll know that I've been trying my hand at, well, composing music, singing and writing a novel. And I'm afraid that's just me. I just like to do different things. I really do enjoy guitar building, but it's nice sometimes just to have different interests, just to change the scenery, so to speak. Now I'll be interested to know of any sort of hobbies that you have. You know, just leave a note in the comments below, because it always gives ideas to folk about what they can do. Especially if you're sort of in my position where sort of retired from 40 years of work, and I think there's a lot of thought about retirement. You know, you're going to just sit there and in a comfy chair. Well, I'll tell you what, that's just not the way to do it. I think of retirement as a change of career. I think you need to keep yourself occupied. Anyway, that's my philosophy of life. But there's nothing more relaxing than taking frets out. Sound of cracking wood doesn't sound good. When I put these frets in, I hadn't learned the technique of just chamfering the top of the slot that Ben Crow has sort of told us about, and as a consequence of that I've got some splits here, so this fretboard is going to have to be sanded down quite a bit. That's if it survives being removed, of course, but we'll see. The last one. Now, if you've not spotted it already, this is a nylon guitar, and unfortunately throughout its life it's had steel strings on it. Started off with nylon, and then, well, I wanted to get a bit more rocky, as it were, and put steel strings on it, which wasn't a great idea, which is probably why the poor thing has suffered. What I'm trying to do in this remake, as it were, or makeover, is to create a nice guitar from this. I'm not really trying to preserve it as it was. I want to create something that's really nice, and I'm really happy to play as a nylon guitar, because I haven't got another nylon guitar, and this is it's got a nice sound to it, so I think I can improve it, and that's what I'm going to try and do. Well, okay, I'm going to call it a day for this video. I'm going to try and keep my videos a little bit shorter than they used to be. They were a bit long-winded, so I'm going to try and stick to about 10 minutes or so. And well, this is going to be quite a long project, so I do hope you'll stay with me. In the next episode, I'm going to be trying to get this fretboard off without doing too much damage, and I may even see if I can start to get the top off. So please join me for that. In the meantime, stay safe. See you soon. Cheers.